Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend. I'm getting this video up a little bit late today because I went out to dinner with some friends last night, had a bit of wine, and yeah, that's all I'll say. It's definitely put a damper on what I could do today. But I had a really great time with my friends, so that was definitely worth it. I thought I would do this video today to share with you the 4 books I'm taking on my trip to Atlanta. As I told you guys, I'm going to work for some training in Atlanta starting tomorrow. I leave very early. So I'm bringing 4 books on the trip because when I travel anywhere to the East Coast, Southeast, it is an all-day event to get there and back to California. And so it gives me a lot of really good reading time on Monday and Friday, and then I'll be there for a couple of nights too. I don't know how much reading I will get done Wednesday because I am meeting Kendra Winchester and Autumn Privet of the Reading Women, and I think I'm meeting their husbands too, so that's going to be really exciting. So I'm super excited about that, but here we go. Why don't I share with you the 4 books that I'm taking with me on my trip. The first is a book that I've actually already started, and that is Home for Erring and Outcast Girls by Julie Kibler. This comes out this month from Crown Books, Crown Publishing, and I want to thank them for sending me this early copy. I'm pretty far into it, you can see. This is really the story told in 2 parts. First is about the early 1900s of a home for women outside of Arlington, Texas, that really takes in women that are dealing with drug addiction, women who are pregnant out of wedlock, and who are just sort of been outcast from their lives in the world. And it's a story of 2 women that wind up there for basically because they have young children and they want to be able to change their life around so that their children can have a better life. Unfortunately for one of them, their child passes away. This happens very early in the beginning of the book. This is not a spoiler. And the women both have very different reactions to how the home is run. It's very much a very Christian home, and faith is a big part of what the people who run it are preaching while you're there. And both of the women sort of come at that from different angles. And then we have modern day, we have a young woman who is a librarian at a university in Texas, and she finds the what is the word I'm looking for? But it's all the collected papers regarding this home. And there is also a graveyard that's right outside of where she works, where she finds the names of the 2 women that we're learning the story about at the 1900s. And it's sort of how all of that comes together. We learn that our young woman a modern young woman has had some tragedy in her life and how she has dealt with that. And it's about her relationships, not only with the women from the house that she's learning about, but also with the people around her and how she's going to develop and get past those things. I'm absolutely loving it. The only thing I don't love is that I struggle with the title. Home for Erring and Outcast Girls by Julie Kibler. It's a really, really good read so far. So I probably will finish this on the plane tomorrow. The next book I'm reading is by one of those authors that I just pick up everything she puts out, and she has a new book coming out on August 6, 2019, and that's Mary Doria Russell, and this is The Women of the Copper Country. This is coming out from Atria Books, and again, that's on August 6th. Now, I've talked about in the past The Sparrow, which is probably Mary Doria Russell's most famous novel, but she has written a lot of historical fiction. She did a book about Doc, oh my gosh, you know how you have a name, a Wild West, I can't think about it. I'm sorry, Mary. Just totally is blanking from my mind. And then she did a book on Epitaph, which was the battle at Tombstone, Arizona. And yeah, I think that's Arizona. There you go. I'm testing my history, and I probably should have written up, but I really just want to tell you about The Women of the Copper Country, which comes out in August. This is the story about a young woman that lives in a copper town, and she decides to stand up for the other copper miners and the people in the town against the corporation that is basically running and ruining their way of life. I started this one actually the other day, and what Mary Doria Russell does better, almost better than any writer that I have ever read, is there's so much detail, so much history, so much research. So you really are going to get a fantastic all-encompassing view of this town, of this time period. And this is really, I think on the back it says, This is a moving historical portrait of the lives of the men and women of the early 20th century labor movement. So it's going to give you sort of that time period and when those things were coming into fruition. So I'm super excited about this one, and I do adore Mary Doria Russell, and I can't believe that for some reason, all I can think about is the name of the book is Doc, and yeah, it's up there. It's signed on my shelf. I should just pull it. But get your hands on this on August 8th. Okay, August 6th. The next book was actually kindly sent to me by Cassie over at Green Apple Books on the Park, and that is the YA novel, The Grief Keeper by Alexandra Villasante. I don't know a whole lot about this one, so I'm actually going to read the back to you. But she told me, and Cassie has done a video on my channel where she recommended YA titles, and she is the YA purchaser for Green Apple Books on the Park. So she is an expert, and she said this was her favorite YA novel that she read this year, and it just came out in June. You guys can get your hands on it. It says, 17-year-old Marisol has always dreamed of being American, learning what Americans in the US are like from television. When she pictured an American life for herself, she dreamed of a life like Amy and Amber's, the lead characters of her favorite American TV show. She never pictured stealing across the US border as an illegal, fleeing for her life, but after her brother is murdered and her younger sister Gabby's life placed in equal jeopardy, she has no choice, especially because she knows everything is her fault. If she had never fallen for the charms of a beautiful girl named Liliana, her brother wouldn't be dead, and she and Gabby wouldn't have been caught crossing the border. But they have been caught, and their asylum request will most certainly be denied. With truly no options remaining, Marisol jumps at an unusual opportunity to stay in the United States. She's asked to become a grief keeper, taking the grief of another into her own body to save a life. It's a risky experimental study, but if it means Marisol can keep her sister safe, she will risk anything. She just never imagined one of the risks would be falling in love. One, take a look at this cover. It's gorgeous. That sounds amazing. So that's The Grief Keeper by Alexandra Villasante, and this is out from Putnam Children's Books, and it is out now. You guys can get your hands on it right now. The last book that I'm taking on this trip is a collection of short stories, and that's The World Doesn't Require You by Rion Amilcar Scott. This is coming out from Liverlight, also in August. I don't know if I have an exact date. I did get to meet him. He was signing the books at Book Expo America. That's where I got my copy. All I know about this, and I'm going into it a little bit blind, but I'm super excited. It is a collection of short stories that are all take place in a fictionalized town that he has created in Maryland called Cross River, I believe. Cross River, Maryland. So he sort of in a Faulkner-esque sort of way, or maybe even Weinberg, Ohio kind of way, he has created this town where he places all of these peoples in these stories so that they sort of intertwine, and he is able to tackle some difficult subject matter. I started the first story and it is freaking amazing. So I cannot wait. You guys will want to read this. If you are a short story reader, I have a feeling that this is going to be one that you want on your shelf. So that's The World Doesn't Require You, stories by Rion Amilcar Scott. This is out in August from Liverlight. You guys get your hands on that. So those are the 4 books that I am taking with me. Let me hold them up for you guys once again. These are the 4 books that I am taking with me on my trip to Atlanta. I leave tomorrow, so I will not be doing any videos while I'm gone. I am going to pre-record a video to put up for you guys tomorrow, but I will not see you until next weekend. So as always, if you are a return subscriber, thank you so, so much. If you are new to my channel, I hope you liked this video. I hope you come back for more. And as always, I wish you happy reading, and I'll see you soon. Bye.